Hello, everyone. Nick from Claret and Booze. Fashionably late as always. I'm here with Ryan. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm very well, mate. I love that intro. It was like the intro to a blockbuster movie that's just
It
coming
is,
out,
yeah. Yeah, I know.
starring
I know. It
Nick from Claret
symbolises.
and Booze.
No, it symbolises West Ham rising. It's a phoenix. You know, that's what it is.
Yeah,
That's why I did it. Yeah, no,
that's
it's
good.
all right.
Yeah,
It's all right.
I'm very well, mate. It's been a few weeks. I know we've had international break, and I've had a few busy Wednesdays. So yeah,
Yep.
no, it's nice to be back on, mate. Thanks for inviting me on.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, mate, it's always a pleasure. I am going to touch on one thing before we get going. We all know what happened yesterday and the day before, and today on West Ham Fan TV and Hammers Chat. We are going to chat about it for a little bit, but not much. The mods have been briefed because there's a lot of preaching going on from fans as well, saying, "Oh, you can't do this. You can't have division." Well, you're all picking sides as well. You know, you saw it in both parts of the chat. So if we're going to be united, you know, Nicky and Gonzo have shaken hands and said that's fine. We've got to do the same as well. It's all very well being tribal and loyal to your kind of your YouTube channels, even ours as well. But at this moment in time, we've all got to be united. So please, no slagging people off or coming in here to stir the pot in the chat. If you do, the mods are going to be on you. All right. But we are going to talk about it just very quickly. Ryan, what were your thoughts on it all, really?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's yeah, as you see, both. Obviously, I see Gonzo's video yesterday. Obviously, explained his situation very well. Nicky come back and he's apologised. And yeah, look, I've known Nicky over 30 years, and I know sometimes he gets caught up in the heat of the moment, and he speaks from the heart and he says things, and he even said it himself. Sometimes he lets his mouth run away from him, and he don't think before he says things. Yeah, look, I mean, I wasn't there Saturday on post-match pint. I know that a few people did say to me, obviously, about Gonzo was apparently in corporate or doing something for the BBC. He should have been at the protest. Look, as it's been explained, no one knows people's situations. Like, I see that Gio had to do a video as well explaining his situation. Yeah, look, I'll be honest. Where I had my own issues a couple of years ago, I sort of went off the YouTube scene. So I don't really watch as much West Ham YouTube as I should.
No.
But I've always had respect for Gonzo, Gio, and Charlie when he was at Hammers Chat, because they started around the same time as us. So
Yeah.
And doing YouTube is hard. It takes up a lot of your life, and you sacrifice a lot of things. And as you probably know, mate, since you've been doing it, you sacrifice a lot of things. You sacrifice weekends with your family. You sacrifice going to parties that you miss out on and whatever.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and I had my situation a couple of years ago, and for once in my life, I put myself first for a change, and I had to take myself out and get myself right. And look, me and Gonzo, we always say hello to each other when we see each other. We're not mates. We're not someone that's he's going to ring me up and say, "Come, right, let's go down the pub." But whenever we've seen each other, we've always sort of shook hands. I've been down on the Hammers Chat boats, but I've got a probably better relationship with Gio. I've got a lot of time for Gio. Gio is someone that he was when I was going through my situation a couple of years ago. He sent me a nice polo top from the Hammers Chat collection, lovely top, and he wrote a nice little note, and it meant a lot to me at the time because not a lot of people sort of reached out. You was one that reached out to me as well. I remember the DMs on Twitter. And yeah, listen, I've made it public that there was people that should have been there for me that wasn't. But that's life. You learn a lot about people when you're at your lowest.
Yeah, you do.
And I never knew Gio's situation until I see his video. And I'm going to speak to Gio. I was going to give him a call over the next couple of days and speak to him because I never knew his situation. And it sort of...
It's a tough situation.
It's a tough situation. I never knew. I didn't even know... Because I don't watch a lot of Hammers YouTube, West Ham YouTube. Like, I never knew that Gio even had a little girl, and I didn't know the situation. And honestly, mate, I'm a dad, and I've got a girl. She's nearly 19, mate. So I know I don't look like I've got a 19-year-old, but Yeah, and I can't think of anything worse, and I won't wish it on my worst enemy for their kids to go through any suffering. And yeah, as I said, mate, Gio is a top bloke, and I wish him, his missus, and especially his little girl all the best. And I will reach out to Gio because I feel bad in a way because he reached out for me, and I haven't really spoke to him, but I didn't know the situation. But going back to
No,
obviously Nicky and Gonzo's situation, I think that it's, it got Gonzo had his right to reply and say his piece and explain his situation when he shouldn't really have to explain it, but he did. Nicky got a lot of backlash from it. I see some of the comments, some of them very, so it's tough to take when you see your mate going through that sort of situation. It's better to not jump on it and get involved. I knew Nicky was going to be the bigger man and admit, he was going to say he's done his sorry video and move on. And that's the way it should be. But look, there was a couple of situations that happened yesterday. I mean, with Nicky, and I'm not going to say on the I'll leave that to Nicky to say, but it's not nice and it's cowardly for what people do. But look, Gonzo's accepted Nicky's apology. I'm sure, in the future, if we ever see Gonzo, if Nicky sees Gonzo, I'm sure they'll shake hands and move on. As I said, I've always sort of got on with Gonzo. I've not had a problem with him. So, yeah, I'm glad it's done. I'm glad it's settled now. And we can all move on and do what we'll do best, trying to keep the West Ham fans sort of entertained, have a laugh, talk about the West Ham situation and leave all that shit behind and all have the same goal to get the dwarf out of the club.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, what happened there, that's a bit of it was a bit of a lesson for me as well, because obviously I've not been doing this as long. And for people that are watching this, people that do what we're doing at the moment, we have the same arguments and the same problems that you'll have with people down the pub or your mates or in your friends group and stuff like that. It's all personal. Sometimes people click, sometimes people don't, and sometimes people piss you off. But what that did show to me, because I'm quite knee jerky as well, is that you've got to kind of because I've been on the verge of doing a few videos. I have been, and what you've got to try and think of, especially at the moment, is you might be sort of attacking one person, but you kind of you're adding sort of division to the fan base as well. So what happened to Nicky there could have quite easily been me as well in the past. It could have been. So it's very, very easy to happen. And look, this is an emotive thing that we do as well. We commentate on West Ham, which is something we're really passionate about. And sometimes things get heated. That's all it is for me.
Yeah, of course. And look, it's life. You're always going to meet people that, as you said, that you don't get on with. You're going to meet people that you get on with. That's just life. I mean, me, Gonzo, and me have probably got totally different circles. Gonzo's very well educated. He speaks very well, and I've sort of admired the work that they've done at Hammers Chat for the last 10 years. It's a lot of time of your life, as I said, and it does take it up. I mean, if me and Gonzo was to have a row, as I said, I'd have to start Googling words because I probably wouldn't understand afterwards. He's very well educated, and I'm fucking just a Canning Town boy that went to Eastleigh School and didn't learn much, mate. But look, we all have one love, and it's West Ham. We all do what we do because we love the club and we love talking about the club, and we don't want people to be divided. We'd all like to work together. There are egos in YouTube. I've seen loads of it. I've been in this game 10 years, and there's people that have got hardly any subscribers, yet they get 2 comments and they walk around like they own the football club. I've seen it. I've seen people change.
And also as well, Ryan, just something very quickly as well. You can always tell a lot. I do anyway. When you meet someone. So when you meet someone in person, you can tell a lot more from them than what you can do when you just see them on screen, because anyone can put an act on really. But you can get a lot more of a feel for the type of person that someone is, and not everyone is the same on screen as they are off it. They're not. That's something that I've found as well. You meet a few people and you're like, hey, So that is it. So that's all I'm trying to say to people is things ain't always as they seem. You are going to get people falling out, and I think sometimes what I saw yesterday was, and the day before was people jumping on a side when really you might like one YouTube channel more than another, but it's all fucking West Ham at the end of the day.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
get that. And I would like to think that the way I am on screen is the way I am in real life when people meet me. You know, I don't try to pretend I'm something I'm not. You know,
No.
I know I'm not better than anyone. I'm a West Ham fan. I have been for over 35 years now since I started going. And if YouTube finished tomorrow, I'd still be going West Ham. Obviously, I don't go as much. I mean, Saturday was my first game back.
After that game, mate, how did it go when you was in there?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, mate. Right, it's my first game back since Arsenal at home last November, and you know, I've got my own reasons why I don't go anymore. I will go back. I will get a season ticket again, maybe next season, season after, whenever. But I am going to go a lot more this season because I do miss it. I mean, Saturday for me, like I always plan to do the Palace game. As soon as I see the fixtures come out, I thought 3:00 on a Saturday, meet up with old mates. And then it just so happened that the protest fell on that game, which was even better. You know, so attended the protest. It was peaceful. It was brilliant. It was so nice to meet so many people. I see you there. I see a lot of people there. Ex-employee was there. And it was peaceful. It was good. And then I went on to before we went to the game, went to the fan zone. They got outside where they had a brew dog, so we had a few beers.
Yeah.
Honestly, mate, going into that stadium, I could have left after about 10 minutes. It was awful. It was awful.
Was it as empty in there as it seemed? Like because it looked fucking half empty to me.
Mate, where my seat was, I sat up with Graham in the upper tier next to the away fans. I couldn't hardly see anything, mate. I was that far back. It's the first time I've ever sat behind a goal in that stadium up that high, and it was horrible. I couldn't see fuck all. So second half, Scott said to me that there was a few seats empty down by where he was, so I went down there. Better. I was right in line for their second goal. Brilliant finish, by the way. But it wasn't a great experience, man. I wanted to leave. The only best part of my day was after, where I stayed with a few mates, went to the Bat and Ball and watched the United Chelsea game and had a few beers, had a laugh. But it felt like old West Ham again. I met so many people on Saturday that I haven't seen for a long time. Yeah. And that was the best part of my day. But take away the football. The football was terrible. You know, it's not good, mate.
It's not good. I mean, I said before. I mean, you know, Mark. I met Mark. I went up on the concourse and had a beer with him, and he was waiting for Kira, and then they went in, and so I basically walked away from the stadium about 15 minutes before kickoff because I went to a pub to watch it. And mate, honestly, I felt almost lucky. I did. There was nothing in me that wanted to go in that stadium again. There really weren't. Not at the moment. I was happy to be walking away from it. It's a sad situation. It really is. But hopefully we're making progress. I mean, we are making progress. We know that the ball are on the ropes now. I don't know whether you saw earlier on. Paul Coburn Bubbles done a protest show with Gio, and he did a bit of did a rallying cry for the next stages. He was telling people what's going to be happening at away games, and he went on to talk about the next planned protest after the boycott is going to be Burnley. And all we know about it at the moment, because the route hasn't been decided or authorised yet, all we know is for people that are travelling from afar, you want to be aiming for around about, it's a 3:00 kickoff, aim for about 12:15, something like that. And Paul told me in the pub last week what was going to be happening, bearing in mind, you know, with the petition, when we set that up, you remember you guys kicked it off with us on that 24-hour show. Anyone that goes and reads that petition, there isn't anything to do with Claret and Booze on there. It isn't a Claret and Booze account. We set up a West Ham petition with the idea that everyone would get involved in it and everyone would push it. And we've managed to get the 14,000 votes before Hammers United kicked on with the protest, and then the FAB put their letter in. But the plan is there's going to be a march I won't reveal all the details of the march, but it's going to be quite impressive what they're doing. But the idea is we're basically going to be marching and we're going to be handing in the physical petition. So it's all going to be printed out, all the names, and we're going to be handing that over. We're at 14,000 at the minute. So get your name on it. Get your name on it. You know, it's always been meaningful, and now it really, really is. You know, and I never asked Paul for that either. I've never even mentioned a petition to Hammers United. All I've done is I've just supported them. I've supported them the whole way, and it was Paul that suggested that to me in the pub. He said, "Would you be all right if you done that?" And I thought, yeah, that's lovely. That would be good, because I didn't want to. I didn't want to push it, because since I've been trying to sort of do it, you kind of see, as we was talking about earlier on, you feel like, I don't know. I thought more people would get involved with it, and they haven't really. And I just felt like, you know, because it's on a YouTube channel, it'd be repellent for some others that are more loyal to other channels, and it just felt a bit silly. So the fact that Hammers United are pushing it now is fantastic. And the target is about 25,000. If we can get that number up, get your name on it, we're going to be marching that up all the way to the gates, and we're going to be handing that over. It's going to be quite powerful, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. And that's for the Burnley game, isn't it?
That's the Burnley game, yeah.
But yeah, I'll even if you know what, I might not even get a ticket for the game, but I'll still come down because
come on, watch it in a pub.
Yeah, that's what could do. I prefer that, but yeah, I think Saturday, I think it was a good start. I think maybe there might have been people out there that maybe thought, it's going to be a nothing protest, but then seeing the videos and the photos over the weekend, maybe they might sit there and think, do you know what, I'm going to join that next one, because it's about momentum in it, and it's about keep going. I know there's another one about is it the Newcastle game, staying in after the game or something?
Yeah, well, they're all working together. So I think Crossed Hammers came up with that idea about, and they're all going to congregate around the Bobby Moore stand or something like that. So that's what I mean. Everyone's working together now. So Hammers United and Crossed Hammers are all working with each other. And what the protest is going to be moving forwards, just to remove all kind of, you know, the political side. I don't know what's involved in that side of it, but whatever. So it's not a Hammers United march anymore or a protest. It's not a Crossed Hammers one. It's all going to be done under one umbrella. It's a West Ham protest. That's it.
Yeah,
that's going to be the marketing behind it.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be. You know.
Yeah.
It's how it should be. And no, I think it'll be. Look, you can see there's a lot of pressure on Sullivan now. You've had his old Doris on Twitter. She's rattled. You know, she's now coming out to defend him and arguing.
Mate, what did you think of that?
It's just the world we live in now, isn't it? I mean. You fucking, I see. So at first I thought it was a fake account, and then I clicked on it, and I thought, wow, this is a real account. And then some of the things she was saying, I mean, I'm thinking to myself, how can Sullivan allow that? You know, how can anyone at West Ham allow that? Like, she should be banned from that.
Well, I mean, Sullivan is what he is, but you can imagine someone like Kretinsky seeing that and going, oh my fucking God. What is going on here? Who are these people?
It's not a good look, is it? But
no.
Yeah, I mean, mate, look, they know they're under pressure. West Ham fans are sticking together on this.
Yeah.
And look, who knows what the outcome's going to be? You know, we could have all been out there on Saturday, and I'm sure Sullivan was probably inside, and he probably don't give a shit. But the next one, make more noise. It's good, and to be honest, and I remember saying this to Dan protest. I said, looking round, seeing a lot of old faces there that I haven't seen for ages, and people that ain't going no more. It felt a bit like old West Ham again.
I think there was some old faces there. There was some old faces there, and that part of that rallying cry from Paul earlier. It was really good, actually. Got me rolled up.
What was that?
It was on Hammer's chat. He done it at 3:30. Give it a watch. It ain't a long video. It's really good what he done. What he said, and he was calling for everyone's coming, all the the ones that don't go anymore, everyone, and so everyone, because I know there's a lot of people that on this channel I don't know what it's like with yours, but it feels like there's a lot of older West Ham fans from the Boleyn days. I feel like watch Claret and Booze. So if you are in that boat and you don't go anymore and you haven't been to the new stadium or whatever it is, come back over for the protest. You ain't got to go to the game. come to the pub with us after. You know, we'll pack the place out. But just come over. This is kind of this is going to work. It's going to work. I'm telling you. We're getting them out. There's all sorts of other things that are happening in the background as well. I sent Ryan an article earlier on. I'm sure you all know and you've seen it. But Sullivan's got his own pressures outside of football as well at the moment. But with this, I don't really see where they've got to turn now. Not really, because I know they're trying to sell 15% of the gold shares, but I don't see what that's going to do. It's not going to do anything. I don't know who would. I don't know what idiot would buy them either. Really, at the moment, because it'd still be Sullivan in the driving seat. But it does feel like we're making real progress, and it is sad because this season has become not about the football, but about taking our club back, which is good. It's positive, but it's been an exhausting few years, and you can't ignore the football. You can't, and you do kind of feel sorry for everyone involved with it. You know, I suppose to a degree, even the likes of Potter, who I can't stand him, but Potter and the players and stuff like that. It's not really good for anyone involved. But this feels much bigger than it. It feels much bigger than that, to be honest.
Yeah, it does, mate. Funny thing on Saturday, though, wasn't it funny when we clapped the Crystal Palace coach in? We probably give them a lift. They probably turned around that corner and thought, "Oh, here we go," and then we started clapping them.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
But it's cool. I think their goalkeeper tweeted about it, saying, "Thanks for the warm welcome," and it's all banter at the end of the day, isn't it? But no, look, you're right, mate, in everything you're saying. There's a lot of pressure on Sullivan now and the rest of the board as well, Brady. So it's going to be an interesting next couple of months, I think, at West Ham. I think we might. The end goal might be coming sooner than we think.
I think so. I don't think it's going to take too much longer, and you know, I just hope that we can. It'd be lovely. It'd be lovely to finish it at Burnley, because the pressure that he's getting. We'll get onto managers and everything else in a little bit, people. I know you're probably all bored talking about this, but with I just feel like with the media turning on him, which is really weird. I mean, that interview that Dan did with White and Jordan, what baffled me more than anything else, apart from, I mean, Dan did brilliantly well, but it was they gave him the space to do it. That would never happen. That would never happen. They let him kind of go and argue his point. Normally, what's his name? White. Normally Jordan's a bit of a pompous prick, and you got Jim White. Jim White just interrupts. That's what he does. He cuts you off. Bang. If you're not following. But I feel like the wheels are coming off for Sullivan. They are. I think he's going to be gone. And what's going to happen next? You know, who are we going to get in? I made this point the other day before we go on to managers. When I was talking to Nicky and Dan on that call-in show, I said the only advantage of the situation that we're in, where, you know, we ain't got a stadium, the squad ain't really anything to sort of speak of in terms of assets that we can sell. The training ground's mortgaged up to the hilt. We're still quite expensive for what we are. I don't think that David Sullivan would buy West Ham now, because, so what I mean is, I don't think you're going to get someone come in and buy West Ham that isn't going to invest, because you've got to invest to get anything more out of your money at this stage. We're not a gift. We're not a gift anymore. We're not a gift. So I do feel like the next stage could be good, because what would be the point in coming in, paying $650 million for us and just driving the standards to the Championship? And that's where we're going to go if things ain't corrected. So that's. Have you got any preferences with owners, or do you know? I mean, beggars can't be choosers, and we are begging at the moment, aren't we?
No, I just want someone that puts the fans first for a change. I want someone to come in, and ideally, I'd love billionaire owners to come in, you know, find us a nice plot of land somewhere, build us a new stadium, a nice little 50, 60,000. No, I want it, nice 50,000 seater stadium.
Yeah.
Similar to Upton Park, you know, the same look, same feel, something we can call our home, that is our home, not a rented fucking. I always feel with West Ham is like you're renting and you're just waiting for the landlord to come and kick you out. Yeah, because it don't feel like home. You know, honestly, mate, when I sat in them seats on, so I even said to Graham, I said, mate, how do you sit here week in, week out? Yeah, I said I can't hardly see. I couldn't even see the scoreboard down the other end because the bit of the roof that was dipping. I was like, I couldn't fucking sit. I don't know how people sit in them seats.
It's the rake of the stands, mate. I mean, in most stadiums they're a bit steeper, but they sort of lean right back. So if you're at the back, you're miles away.
I now understand when away fans post their views and they say this is the worst away ground in the Premier League, and now being up there where they were sitting, because I was literally right next to the Palace fans, and there was good banter going back and forth between the two sets of fans, as you can imagine. But yeah, we just want somewhere, and you want a chairman to come or owners to come in and, you know, as I said, put the fans first. You know, invest in the squad and get the right manager in, and look, it's a lot of work. But the main thing is to get someone in, and then we can move on. Because look, it's.
Do you feel like we'll start to heal? Do you think we'll start to heal once they move on? Once they go, we'll start to heal at that point. I think we will.
Yeah, I think we will, but it could go the other way. We could get owners in that were worse. I mean, I don't know how, but
I don't think so, mate. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. But yeah, I think it will heal, and I think that you'll start getting a few people coming back, and it's probably going to take 5, maybe 10 years for this club to get back to how we knew it growing up. And as I said, I'd love for a new owner to find a nice plot of land somewhere in East London or borders of Essex somewhere, and, you know, build us that new stadium, and then just say to them, do you know what? Fuck your lease, we're off, and let that London stadium die.
Well, you do know part of any deal, because I think that's part of the attraction of selling this club. Sullivan never wanted to own it. I think he thought he was going to get given it one day. I think, but he never. He negotiated a ridiculous rent. And West Ham fans, we never asked to own a stadium that was a drain to the public for £10 million a year. It's embarrassing for us. We never asked for that. But that's what they've negotiated. But we know that when Pi Capital were linked with taking over, they was meeting with the LLDC in relation to buying it. So I don't think you'd have any issue buying that stadium if you wanted it. Obviously, you'd have to pay for it, but nowhere near what it's worth because of the drain on to the taxpayer. So I think you could. I think that's part of the attraction of West Ham is you could buy that stadium if you wanted to. And then if you buy it, what's the land worth? Land's worth a fucking fortune. You could level it. You could even stay in Stratford, Ryan, and just the little pissy stadium, the little running track thing down on the side there. You could build a little purpose-built stadium there. You could do. Or are you sick of Stratford and want to get out of it?
No, do you know what? Apart from the stadium, obviously, I don't mind Stratford for the facilities. I think there's a lot more options around there for fans now. You know, you've obviously got the old Stratford High Street with boozers on there. You've got the fan zones we've got now at the London Stadium. You know, I think Stratford ain't a bad area. It's just a stadium.
Yeah, it's soulless.
Obviously, the transport links are good. So,
and also, do you know what's always done me with that stadium as well? I mean, like when it's because we don't own the land around it or anything. You can't West Ham the area up just even in the vicinity of it. But if it was a West Ham stadium, you could do that. You could have your vendors outside. You could have your stalls. You could have your just things like that. Being able to get a dirty burger over there would be nice rather than the fucking gourmet one.
Funny you say that, mate. Right? When we first moved to that stadium and the people got called into the meetings, the fans invited in for meetings at the time, and Gio and Gonzo were in these meetings, and ex-employee was in the meetings. There was a lot of West Ham influence in their meetings, and one of the things that Karen Brady turned around and said was their plan was to, the walk from Westfield to the stadium.
Yeah.
Their plan was to turn that into, I was going to call it the West Ham Way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'll never forget. I was going to call it the West Ham Way. They was going to put vendors down there. They was going to put statues. They was going to put flags. They was going to make it feel more West Ham. So obviously that never happened. They have. Don't get me wrong. If you look at the stadium from the first ever game we played there to now, it looks a lot more West Ham.
They've made some improvements, but it's all sticking plaster stuff, though, isn't it? What they've done.
Oh yeah, of course. Probably the best thing that they've put over there is probably that champion statue.
Yeah,
But then you walk around the Emirates, they've got statues everywhere of their legends.
I know, mate. I know. I think we'll get there. I mean, like I said, we've got to get over this because it does feel like it's we're in purgatory at the minute. It's horrible. You know, we have been for some time, in a football sense we have, but with this new ownership thing, we are in purgatory. I think they're going. You know, it's just how long it's going to take to get them out. You know, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. But we have got football to think of as well at the moment. And Graham Potter's still. He's still here. He's won 2 games at home in 2025. You know, we're almost in October, and he ain't quite done enough to get sacked yet. Personally, what I think it is that they can't agree on a manager because we know that Lopetegui was David Sullivan's pick. We know that Potter was Brady's pick. And now, because everything has to go to a board vote, and we've got like a 500-person fucking board, it wouldn't surprise me if people are going, I don't trust your fucking choices, thanks. You know, you fucked up, and they're the ones that are bringing managers to the table at the moment. So I'm just amazed that he's still here, and to think that, I mean, I know Everton lost yesterday. They got beat by Wolves, didn't they, in the cup?
Yeah.
But to almost, this is what I mean. They're beatable, but I don't think they are for us. They're not. We're fucking shit. And to just give that game up, we're 5 games into a season, to give up another 3 points, and then we go away to Arsenal, we're going to have him then. You know, and that's 7 games. That's a fifth of the season gone. We'll be on 3 points.
I think they're being very, very smart with this manager situation for the fact that they know we're not going to probably get anything at Everton. We know we're not going to get anything at Arsenal. Why give a new manager them 2 jobs when the perfect job for him would be Brentford at home, first game, when they're meant to be boycotting, trying to get fans to the stadium, new manager, you think to yourself, they're working it out behind the scenes and they're being very smart. In a way, I sort of, as much as I don't rate Potter and I think he should be sacked, I actually feel a bit sorry for him. And I know that managers never walk away from their jobs because they won't get the payout, but I'd love for Potter just to turn around and say, do you know what? I can't work like this and just resign. I would love to see it.
He's not going to, because he knows the writing's on the wall. I mean, really, what he should be doing is doing a Mourinho, because that's what I would never allow this to happen if it was me. No. Don't get me wrong, you know, I wouldn't walk away from millions and millions of pounds. No. But Mourinho does that effectively. He cancels his contracts by kicking off in press conferences and calling people out. He makes his position untenable. I think that's effectively, you know, the route. You can. That's a way of quitting. You can kick off. You can, you know, and I don't feel sorry for him, because I feel like he hasn't helped himself, mate.
Definitely.
I really don't. I mean, this thing with you know, teasing us with the youth players in the summer. You know, Freddie Potts having a brilliant pre-season, not even getting a sniff. Didn't even get on against Wolves. This insistence on him going out and buying a keeper for this back 5 system, which made last year's 2 best players shit this year in Bowen and Wan-Bissaka, and adding a problem to our team in this fucking midget keeper. It's all Sullivan, because they picked him, but I've got a massive problem for these managers as well, mate, because I think they're mercenaries in their own right. What other fucking job? What other job can you get where you can go in and you can cause so much damage to your business, not perform at all, is our worst ever manager, and then get paid off at the end of it? Oh, fuck, I can't. I don't trust any manager now. After the last few that we've had, I'm just like, mate. See, for me, what I was calling for was a director of football change. I know we're saying, oh, they'll never do that, but if they ever was going to do it, it would be now, because they're under so much pressure. And that's partly, in a sense, when you think about what Hammers United are asking for, or the Fab are asking for, part of their mandate, you know, go and get a real executive team in, you know, a CEO, people that can run the club properly so they can step back. A director of football would be a big part of that if they got a proper one in, one who took full control, and then let them choose the fucking manager. That's what I'd prefer. I feel like if they just go out now and go and do this, the romantic appointment, which I can see happening, I could literally see Sullivan appointing Bilic, Noble, Collins and Dix on a massive charm offensive, you know, going and getting a manager that you don't rate because you've sacked him, you know, 9 years ago, whenever it was, 8 years ago, and putting a load of people in there that are just characters that the fans fall in love with. It's like jobs for mates. That for me feels desperate, and it is romantic. You know, we'd all love that, but how long would that last if it didn't work, if it didn't go well? You know?
I'm a bit like I've got mixed feelings about Bilic really, because I loved him when he was there first season, but I think most people will tell you that Payet carried us that season. You know, it was a special season. The next season was always going to be difficult for Bilic, you know, moving to the new stadium. His top targets that he wanted, he never got, and he ended up with crap, basically.
Yeah.
And then obviously he left, and I mean, he hasn't done much since, has he? So I can see what you say. It's romantic, and I think the fans would get behind him. And look, I'll get behind him as well, because
especially with that backroom staff team, we would. You'd have to get behind him.
Yeah, I think dragging Noble out the boardroom and getting him in that change room would be a big thing. I think James Collins is a big voice. You know, it'd be obviously a defensive coach, most probably.
My God,
and then obviously, Julian Dix, you know, coming back would be good for him, good for the backroom staff as well. Someone that knows the football club, loves the football club, passionate about the football club. But
you met Dixie at the Brewdog a little while ago. You interviewed him. Did he talk about anything like that about coming back to West Ham?
No, we did sort of mention it. Like we mentioned to him in. I'm not sure if this was the bit that was filmed or if it was a bit the second half that we didn't film because he wanted the cameras off.
Yeah.
But he did mention, and we did say to him, like, if Slav was to go back to West Ham,
would you go back?
Would you go back? Of course he would. He'd jump at the chance. He loves the
quality, innit? Yeah.
He loves the football club. You know, he's like his passion is amazing. You know, he loves this football club, and he loves Bilic as well. They're best friends. You know, they've known each other over 30 odd years now, 35 years. He obviously went to him to West Brom with him. I can't remember whether he went Watford with him. I don't know whether that was when Dixie was in America, but he's worked with Bilic. Oh no, he did go Watford with him. He didn't go to when Bilic got the job in Saudi or wherever it was.
Right,
but
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, look, we'd all love to see that. We'd love to see it. But it was a bit like, I know you don't like him, but it was a bit like when David Moyes brought in Nolan, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah.
You know, characters like that.
I think to a degree, I think that's an intelligent thing to do. I mean, it's what I think any top manager would do as well. I mean, from what I know, back when people will laugh, back when we was who's the Italian bloke that was due to be coming in. I can't think of his name. Allegri. So Allegri spoke to Sullivan around about this before Loppy came in, and before Loppy was sacked, and he said, "Keep Lopetegui. I'm not joining midway through a season. You know, I'll go on and do that." But who he had lined up, because they had the same agent as well, Allegri and Ogbonna. He wanted Ogbonna to come in and be his number 2. So that would have been quite nice, because he identified that with the situation that West Ham were in, you needed someone that connected with the fans. You know, you need that. You need a character there, someone that you recognise, and I think it is important. And what I think that's another thing where Potter's gone wrong. He's just ripped everything up, he's thrown everyone away, even the goalkeeping coach, and he's just brought his own people in. And that's the other mess, isn't it? You know, how are we going to rebuild? Because you imagine they're all going to go when Potter goes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and we mentioned James Collins there as well. I mean, if you ever spoke to James Collins, like his love for the football club, you know, he would obviously jump at the chance to work for the football club again. And no, that's the romantic side. We'd all love to see that work, but it's a difficult job, isn't it, for anyone to come in now. I think even, I know we've been linked with Nuno as well, and I think he would be a good appointment. I can't see
square in that one.
Yeah, no. Do you know what? I think he's the best out of a bad bunch, if I'm honest.
Have you seen who we're linked with now? Apparently, who we're linked with, the latest list. So you got Nuno's on there, Bilic is on there. Benitez ruled himself in, but the club have ruled him out. He went on a podcast and said he wants to manage in the Premier League again. I don't think he's a consideration. Scott Parker, he's apparently been approached, and they're talking about Marco Silva from Fulham. Now, I do know that Marco Silva agreed with Sullivan to come in just before we won that conference title. So they had a deal lined up. It was done. He was ready to go. So he's spoken to him before, and I think Marco Silva sees a lot of, obviously, it's a bigger club than Fulham, isn't it? You know, it's a big club. But I think he's on extortionate money from what I've been told. His contract expires in the summer, so his contract does expire at the end of next year. They'd have to buy him out. I think his buyout is about 8 million, but I think his wages are high. Like at Fulham, from what I've been told, his wages are fucking massive. So I don't see how that would work. Well, I mean, I'd love Silva. Silva would be good for me, but what my concern is, mate, if you're going for a Nuno, look, I'm not saying he's a bad manager. 10 times better than Potter all day long. But it's a style of football. We're going back to Moyes ball again, and it is the same. It's low block, sit there with low possession, and then play counter attack. Two things. I don't think we've got a defence to do what David Moyes did. You know, David Moyes had a generational talent in Declan Rice, Shielding, Zuma, Ogbonna, fucking Dawson, but far better defenders than what we've got. Yeah. And I just don't think we've got that much to counter attack. We ain't even got a striker, really, mate.
No.
I mean, it ain't a gift for anyone who comes in this squad when you look at it. Not really.
No, there's a lot of work there. There's a lot of work to be done, and I agree. Now that, because I didn't hear the rumours about Marco Silva, he would be a good appointment. You know, the way he plays. He's done wonders.
It'd be my choice. He would be.
He's done wonders at Fulham. You know, it's it'll be a good choice. But look, I can't see West Ham paying any compensation for any manager. We always go cheap. We always go for people out of work. It wouldn't surprise me if we ended up with Sean Dyche. It would not surprise me.
Yeah, I didn't even want to mention him because, you know, he's on the list as well.
Yeah, and he's one of their mates, and he's out of work, and yeah, it's just, I don't know, mate. Look, for a manager, like if you want to be successful and you want to change his fortunes, then go out and pay the money. Like if you feel that because 8.6 million might seem a lot, but it could be the best 8.6 million you've ever spent.
Would you get for 8.6? Would you get for 8.6 million? And if you're buying a player, you get nothing. It's no money in football terms.
And I'm sure he'll bring in his backroom staff, and I'm sure it would work. And as I said, no disrespect to Fulham, but it is a step up for him.
It is definitely.
So yeah, it would be good, but I can't see it, mate. Honestly, I can see Potter lasting the next two games. I think look, out of the two games, I could probably see us getting something at Everton, maybe a draw. But Arsenal, no chance. Well, I know we've won there 2 years.
If he gets a draw, mate, that's another 5 games for him. I don't think he will. I think Everton they're off the back of two defeats now. You know, they lost to Liverpool, didn't they? And now they've lost to Wolves. I'll be very surprised. But I do think that Potter's he's got a good record against Moyes, though, Potter has.
Yeah. I see someone put. I'm trying to find that. Someone sent me something the other day. I can't fucking find it. It was like a stats thing. Sorry. Oh, there it is. Right. So this was like, I don't know if you see this, but someone sent it to me. So this is West Ham. So bearing in mind we've won 2 home games in 2025.
Yeah.
Right. Now go back 2 years in 2023. We played 59 games in that season, in that year, which was the most since 1989. We had 32 wins.
Fuck.
That was the most since 1980. 17 home wins, 97 goals scored, 19 clean sheets, and we only failed to not score in 7 games.
97 goals scored.
97 goals scored. Yeah, that was the most since 1980.
Yeah,
and we failed to score 7 times in that.
Bloody hell.
You know, and that was 2 years ago. So how have we gone so far back in 2 years?
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know. I mean, we did say before, and this is the horrible thing now, because I've not been doing as many shows. I've been leaving it sort of in and around the games, because it's difficult. We said, "Oh, we'll have a laugh. We'll try and be upbeat about it." But how can you really? There's nothing to be upbeat about. We've got the protest where we're trying to get the ball out. That's positive. It's positive because we're all coming together for a common goal. But the upshot is, we're doing it because we're in such a shit place. And it's mate. It's hard. It's hard graft, isn't it? And what are your thoughts against Everton? Do you think we could get something against them?
I mean, look, it's going to be good for the fans to go up and see the new stadium. In a way, it probably won't be good because they'll probably look at it and think, "Fuck me, I wish we had this. This is a proper football stadium. This is what we should have had, something like that."
I know.
I watched Everton last night. Well, I was at a pub quiz last night and they was on, and I was watching them more than I should have been. Yeah, we done all right first 3 rounds, and then they brought out this mystery round, and it was like fucking 10 questions all about animals. Like, what do you call a pack of fucking flamingos or a pack of fucking rhinos and a pack of penguins? I said chocolate biscuits for that one. Yeah. One of the answers, I just went all Gavin and Stacey, and I just went Chris Akabusi. Like, but yeah, no, it was all right. It was a good laugh. Good laugh. I think we finished 4th out of 9 teams.
Ain't so bad, mate. No. Yeah, mid-table. That ain't too bad.
Yeah, just meet up with a couple of mates every now and again. Every couple of weeks, we try to get together, have a couple of beers, just have a catch up. So it was good. But yeah, going back to the Everton game, mate, I think that I mean, they rested a few players last night. They did lose to Wolves, we know, but look, Moyes will be setting up thinking they can beat us, and obviously they've got a talent in Jack Grealish that can punish us if he's on form. So it's how we set up, how we approach the game. I mean, if we start with the same team we did against Palace, I mean, I know it was good to see Wilson up top and have an actual striker up top, but something just didn't click. I don't know what he's going to do.
You got to use him off the bench. I think with the way that Potter plays, I think you've almost got to approach it the way that he did against Nottingham Forest. I think you've almost got to. You've got to keep it tight and go for it late on and throw your impact play. Even Somerville was good, but I think he has more. I think he'll have more impact for us at the moment from the bench. Just someone we can throw on to change that dynamic. It gives you something to look forward to as well in the game.
I agree as well. I agree. And the longer you're in the game, you've got them options to bring off the bench. You've got a chance to nick a win or a win or something. But no, I agree, mate. And look, I spoke about Jack Grealish there, but we've got a maverick of our own in Paqueta. So if he's on form, he can make things happen for us. So it's going to be difficult, but it's a new experience for them players going to that new stadium. They've never played there before. So let's hope that we can go there and look. I think every West Ham fan would take a point now, but depending on the night, how it goes, I think we can beat Everton. Yeah, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've got a sneaky feeling. No, I haven't. I haven't got a sneaky feeling we're going to get a win. I haven't. I'm lying. I'm just trying to cover my bases. I don't think we're going to win. I don't think we'll get battered because Moyes' teams typically don't do that. They do enough, don't they? They're quite efficient. His team. So I just think we'll get beat. I think it'll be quite a dull affair. I think because Moyes never wants to get beat against us. He's not going to want that at home. And we know what Moyes is like. So I think it'll be quite a dull affair. I think they'll have too much for us. And we'll lose and we'll be on 6 games with fucking 3 points. And Potter will still be here and we'll have to listen to another shitty post-match press conference from him where he's taking the positives from the performance. I can't. I just want to see. Do you know when the next manager comes in? I really, really want a bloke with a personality to come in. I really want someone with a little bit of someone who's likable. Like a Klopp type character. Not Klopp. He ain't going to come here, but you know what I mean. Someone who's someone with an infectious personality that you fucking that you just you learn to love really, really quickly. Someone like that. People. I think we need a people person. The fans do. I think the team does as well. Surely that skill is good in a team environment as well.
That's where I think that what you just mentioned now, I think that's what Bilic would bring.
Yeah.
I think Bilic had a good personality, didn't he? And I think he would bring that. But yeah, no, I get what you mean. You want like like you said, like we're not saying we're getting Klopp, but you want a Klopp personality or a Mourinho personality or a Di
Redknapp
Canio
personality. Oh, fuck me, Di Canio, yeah.
Oh, mate.
I'll tell you that'd get the place rocking. If they had any bollocks about them, that would get the place rocking. If you made a decision to get Di Canio in, because he's another one, mate. You know he'd jump at that job as well. He'd jump at it, and even if it was just at the end of the season, he's got his badges. Now, if you fucking put Paolo in for the rest of the season, it would be it would be chaos. It'd be good chaos.
We'd go down entertained. That's for sure.
Yeah. We'd go down entertained.
I think that you remember what he done at Sunderland when they was in a relegation battle. He come in and he turned it round, and I remember. Didn't they win 3-0 up at Newcastle and he had a suit on, he slid on his knees? And I think, you want that passion, but I can't see Di Canio coming in. As much as I'd love to see him there, I don't think he would come in.
No, I don't think so either. Right, okay, mate. It is now 10 o'clock. We'll knock off early tonight. We're almost at the hour mark. To close it down, I think we'll just we'll sort of touch on what we were saying at the start of the show. It's important for everyone, for us, people who are on YouTube, for all the fans, for absolutely everyone. It's a collective effort for us to really, really be united. And it did feel like that at that protest. I mean, it was, there was about 3,000 people there, and it was good. It was a really good feeling. It was buzzy there. Do you know what I mean? I like that.
Yeah.
We can't let our petty differences get in the way of what we're trying to achieve here. Sullivan would have thoroughly enjoyed the last day because it took the flack off of him a little bit. So we have got to sort of stick to the calls, and like I said, with the petition, that's the next stage, is to get those numbers up as much as we possibly can. If your number's not on there, if your name's not on there, put your name on there, and share it as well. And don't forget, check it in your email as well. Let's get them up. I think, like I said, Paul wants to get that up to about 25,000. So let's get that pumped up, and let's hopefully speed this along and get these people out so we can start thinking happy thoughts again, Ryan.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And I totally agree with everything you said then. And it's been a rough couple of days for obviously the Nicky and Gonzo situation, and it's let's just get back to we all want the same goal at the end of the day. There are some people out there who don't actually mind Sullivan, and we know that, but I think the majority of the West Ham fans, we're all on the same page. Let's not let things get in the way. There's no egos and no one's against each other. Everyone wants the same fucking. The thing is, like, you're on YouTube and you put yourself out there. Everything you say on a live or on a video, it's out there for the world to see.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. I've done it plenty of times, especially in the beginning. You do say things and you do regret it, and you do have to take it on the chin. But it takes a bigger man to admit they're wrong, say sorry, and we move on.
It does.
And that's what life's about. You can't. Look, I say this all the time to people. Like, you're here a short time, man. There's no point trying to, like. I know you can't always be positive, but just fucking don't let things affect you as much. Just fucking enjoy life. Like, move on, say sorry, shake hands, and move on. And that's how it should be.
Absolutely. And it is done now anyway. It's done and dusted. They've all, I think they've got a hotel room together now. They're all good. They're happy again. Happy as Larry. So, we'll leave it till we'll leave it to the next one, mate. And we were supposed to be having Gio on tonight, but Gio's Mrs. Gio pulled rank, so Gio may be joining us next week as well to have a little chat. So that'd be good. But yeah, as Kevin said, the nutty bloke in the cap, we got him to phone in the other day. Do you remember the bloke who came and cornered me? Yeah. He's a great guy. He is. I gave him my number, and he phoned in on Sunday night. He's really good, and he finished on unity is strength. And it's true. It's a good saying. Unity is strength. Right. So that is it from us, everyone. Hopefully we'll have, maybe a win to talk about next week. Speak to you all soon. Come on, you irons.